Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Looks like we all kind of missed the rain for now, so that's a plus. My name is Melissa Maggard. I'm a channel manager for CenturyLink, supporting South Florida and TCG and all their sub-agents. So thank you all again for being here. Today with me, I have John Colbert, who is our sales engineer, and he's going to be discussing some of the network capabilities along with our SD-WAN/hybrid WAN solution. Let me see. Oh, clicker. There you go. Let's see if I'm going the right way. Nope.
That means.
I already messed it up. Sorry about that.
Don't worry.
Just this one. Thank you. All right. So start off with our overview here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the new CenturyLink, and already kind of introduced the team here. Then we're going to go into the solutions. Then we're going to talk a little bit about working with CenturyLink. I don't know how many of you have actually worked with us in the past, but we have a huge and a great support model that's behind us and supporting our partners, and so I just wanted to give you a little bit of information on that. Talk about TCG specifically with a select market support. We're launching a new program, and CenturyLink and TCG are TCG is one of the few select partners that we've engaged to help us in this endeavor. And then also kind of go into our partner incentives and in the WIIFM. And if you don't know what that means, is what's in it for me? So we like to lead off or talk about that towards the end. So I don't know who has or knows anything about CenturyLink, but in case you don't, we are now the second largest telecom internet provider in the country, actually the world. Our goal is to be the trusted connection to the networked world. So if you're looking at today's business, everything is going digital, everything is going IP. I was just talking to Joe about copiers, and the same thing. You know, everything relies on the network. So we want to be that connection for your customers to ensure that all of their applications are running smoothly and have the best possible path to do that. We've done this by building from the ground up an IP network that is over 450 route miles of fiber. We're in over 150 on-net buildings and growing. So we do have an initiative to bring our fiber to our customers. That is one of our ultimate goals because it ultimately provides for a better customer experience, better service levels, and also, quite frankly, more revenue for all of us. If we're not using a secondary provider, then it's on net, everything stays on our network, and we're able to pass that along to our customers. Talk a little bit more about the network. Again, we're in 62 approximately countries. So not only are we servicing our local areas, but we're global. So that's a big differentiator with, there you go. Now it's a party, so we can begin. He got so excited when I mentioned we're in 62 countries. But, and I can tell you, especially in South Florida, LATAM is a huge market. And it's a very fruitful market. So if you have customers that have any kind of Latin American or any kind of international connectivity, always think of CenturyLink because there's a chance that we're going to be able to get you there. One of the other things, most of you are working with other data centers. We have 360 of our own co-location facilities, but we're also in over 2,200 other on-net data centers. We pass a lot of traffic. So our network is built for the internet, and we carry a lot of internet traffic. And we also have a ton of global peering, which also helps performance and helps your customers. And I wanted to touch on that just a little bit more. And John will kind of touch on this as well, because when you're talking about the internet, everybody can get to the internet, but it's also a matter of how fast and how long your packets stay on one provider's connection and where they have these peering points to make sure that your data is going through as seamlessly as possible and going in the least latent route possible, if that makes sense. So CenturyLink focuses, or we believe in what we call a cold potato routing. So essentially, we like to hold on to your data packet for as long as we possibly can on our network so that we can ensure classes of service, quality of service, and also speed of service. And then we're going to hand it off to the closest destination to the ultimate end destination, or our closest jump off. So again, that's a very important aspect when it comes to a network, because not all networks are created equal. So we like to take pride in that. As you can see, we have a wide array of products and services. We kind of break ours up into different tiers as well, mostly from an adaptive networking, being into the network services and hybrid connectivity. And this is anything from your internet, your MPLS, your SD-WANs. Don't forget, we also have a large small business application. So we've got broadband. We're also delivering DSL services. Those come into our business bundles along with Wi-Fi. We also are one of the few that actually have a CDN network. And if you're not familiar with it, if you watch the Super Bowl, that's CenturyLink delivering you broadcasting live through our CDN and Vivix networks.
In Major League Baseball.
And Major League Baseball, thank you. Yes, we're actually working with another TCG partner on a pretty nice opportunity that involves just this application. We also can go into the cloud applications. As you know, everything's moving to the cloud. Again, John's going to talk more about that. And also security. So the network is what builds upon all of these applications to ensure that your customers are getting the best possible solution. And with that, I'm going to pass it along to John Colbert, and he's going to talk about hybrid and SD-WAN.
So hybrid network, where do we start? Always, since I'm an engineer, I love pictures, right? So we have a design here. So how did this all start? Digital transformation. You always hear about that, and what does it really mean? It means that now organizations have a responsibility to merge their private data networking with public, right? So how did that came about? So you're talking about cloud connectivity, right? And then you're talking about software as a service. And then you're talking about virtualizations of servers, right? Because normally in the past, they had to hold their own servers, right? House their own servers, procure their own servers, and have reachability to those servers as well. Now it's more of being streamlined and pushed out from their facilities. So that's where you have the SD-WAN acquired. So you can see things like that where it says Azure, software as a service, and you see Facebook. They have to deal with Facebook now. People have to deal with remote users. They have to deal with mobility users as well. So those are another that's impacted their network together today. So one of the things is that you're going to learn is that we incorporate SD-WAN. SD-WAN is incorporated because they have backup links from the internet in case the primary fail. Now they want to leverage those typical idle WAN links that are just sitting there in their facilities. So in order to do that, SD-WAN was kind of, developed because the ending piece of equipment that terminated the WAN circuits was just basic routers. And that's where we started with hybrid, because routers started the evolution of saying, I can connect your WAN and I can connect your internet, but your internet is going to be idle at that point. So SD-WAN appliance was born to do two things: utilize both links and also to make them fail over and perform better. And the second reason is to make them more resilient as firewalls, because now you're introducing an untrusted network, which is the internet, into your private space, into your LAN space, into each of your environments. So, and one of the things about SD-WAN, this numbers, is it's going to kill MPLS. It will not kill MPLS at all, and I'll prove that as going on. So most of the criticalness is design. being preparing your customers to make the leap for digital transformation. Too many people get in there and just sell SD-WAN. I got an SD-WAN appliance box. Here you go, and that's it. We started off in about the first, month or year with a lot of hardship in transitioning companies over to SD-WAN appliance. So we got a little better. We got road shows going on to incorporate that. Never over-design. Some people overlook at your customer's actual network needs, right? Without understanding the criticality of their business. You really got to get in there and understand their business, what drives their business, where they're going, and stuff of that nature. And I hate to say this, a lot of partners miss on that. We get a lot of stuff coming back from partners that we have to try to design without talking to the customer as well. So really, you want to home in on that. And security is key. Security is key for those unfortunate institutes that need to be in compliance with something with their internet connections. So here's how we see hybrid networks today. So you look at SD-WAN with internet only, 15%, but 81% that comes in to CenturyLink is MPLS and internet. So there you go. It doesn't kill the MPLS circuits at all, right? It just enhances. It's a way to leverage. And then you're looking at 64% needs advanced security. So advanced security means what? There's usually a firewall sitting behind in the company's facility. So what this does is SD-WAN incorporates a little bit of firewall technology within its box as well. So that's how you're looking at it. And 32% is high availability, where you have 2 SD-WAN appliances sitting on site. So very important for you to understand what redundancy and resiliency to a customer's network is about. So let's talk about an SD-WAN solution, right? How do we go about it? I explained a little bit about SD-WAN. How does CenturyLink look at SD-WAN? We look at SD-WAN in 2 flavors today, 2 different deployments of 2 different SD-WAN appliance boxes that we deploy. One is our high end, which is a large scale distributed branch with complex routing and security. Complex routing is a lot to digest, and I won't handle it here, but you just need to know it's a lot. It's security requirements as well. That's what we call Versa product. So we're going to consider that CenturyLink SD-WAN solution is Versa. That's number one. The second one would be managed enterprise with Meraki, with Cisco Meraki. And that's usually for interface sites, that's retail, branch locations, that's going to incorporate more than just that SD-WAN appliance box. Maybe an AP device, maybe a camera outside or something to that effect, a switch that they need deployed. So it's going to give you more LAN services or LAN equipment for the customer to utilize and to branch out and use back into a portal that has more analytics to break down the data that is coming into their network. So again, the first solution would be a Versa solution, which is our flagship, and I mentioned that a little bit. And then you have Meraki, which we call MECM, which is short for Managed Enterprise Cisco Meraki unit. So how did those 2 units come about? Why did we chose those units? The Versa's been around since 2012. Versa's very proven in our labs. We got a big lab that we prove both concepts in. That's why we picked them. Not the Vitellas are bad devices or any other SD-WAN appliance that are bad. We just talked about how scale, right? We're global. So how these boxes can scale on a global presence is how we chose them. As far as portal, reach, port analytics, and port easeability to use those analytics for the customer as well. And then Cisco Meraki has been around since 2006, but was acquired by Cisco. So that gives you a kind of threshold. So what we're looking for with the CenturyLink Versa, we look for load balancing. We look for preferred paths. We look for best performance and also packet replication. Please pay attention to packet replication because that's really the difference between the 2 boxes that I'm going to explain. Packet replication is when I can't be down with the application, say it's my voice. I need my voice to replicate in 2 different places, but the primary replication is what it's going to reply back. In case that line breaks, I already have a similar call pattern starting it already from the second path, and it will pick that up, right? So I won't drop that call that I'm on when I get disrupted from the first link, primary link being down. So something that we have to engineer and things that we have to think about technically when we're talking to our customer as well. So here is Meraki, right? Here's the Meraki. So it has dual advanced VPN. It has policy-based routing. Policy-based routing is anything where you prefer. You want something to go down an application, a port, or an IP destination down a specific path. And that's how you got that. Dynamic path selection is more like, this other path, primary A path is better than B. So for better performance for this application, what I'm going to do is put it down A, regardless of what you say about this, unless you want to override that kind of dynamic allocated thought pattern that the SD-WAN box has. So it's all about routing protocols when you talk about somebody's LAN network. It's never about, I just get on and I just start typing away and I get my applications and I get where I got to go because it's programmed on my laptop. That's not how it works. To get them the different routing from your laptop to where your desired location needs to be, it has to be handled by a routing protocol. So the CenturyLink Versa supports static route, BGP, and OSPF. And Cisco Meraki supports static route and BGP, full BGP. What that does is a lot of different technologies and protocols that is necessary for the customer's LAN. So it's very important that you really understand how that works for that particular customer at the time. So I talked a little bit about firewalling capabilities. So our SD-WAN Versa has unique qualities of a firewall that's equivalent to all the other firewalls that are out there as well. So stateful firewall you'll hear as a general term, these are stateful firewalls. And then we can go down to the specifics later. But the most thing I want you to take note here is at the bottom where it says AD integration, that's Active Directory integration. So most of your top clients or customers have Active Directory servers. It's easy to authenticate and utilize passwords and open other applications up to them and deny applications to them based upon the Active Directory server that sits at the customer's location. So it's very important to take note on how you act upon security with different users. And then we go to the Meraki solution. As you see here, a stateful firewall, but a lot of it is branch VPNing capabilities, right? Both have IPS and IDS. So that's how you look at it. In general, geo-based IP rules, which is still a good firewall, stateful firewall. But both of them have different purposes. They're not equal. So I've talking about all this and understanding how the two different products is for CenturyLink and what is the best product for employees that work from home. What would you think the best product would be? Either Versa, Meraki, what you think? Meraki? You would be right, definitely. Meraki holds a big footprint on remote users coming in directly into the SD-WAN appliance itself. So very, very nice. Thank you for that. Good question. So where the potential opportunities are. So you're sitting here, I learned a lot briefly, but where is the opportunities? Where can I impact the most and be successful with the client and myself and whoever I support? So the first thing that you should look for is understanding what kind of cloud services or software as a service is the customer is using, right? And with that said, you need to know the criticality and everything about their business. How do they communicate without saying? And then if they have any CPE refreshing going on with changing computers or virtualization, moving servers from this location, virtualizing somewhere else, those are some opportunities that you could talk about SD-WAN. And also with acquisition, other companies, how can I connect those into my existing network, right? So you can have some play in that as well. Of course, bandwidth is usually told as a commodity, right? It's cheap, just give it to me. Why is it so high? It's cheap, it's bandwidth. But those are the things that are warranting SD-WAN conversions. So when looking at the solutions, you really have to pay attention to IT network resources. That's important. Before you go in, who's your IT person? What do they do? And you got an IT person, who's your security person as well, right? Because security is going to play a big role into this integration of digital transformation. Either way, if they have somebody or you recommend somebody or you bring in the carrier's sales engineer in and their security team to evaluate as well. And of course, we said routing protocols. In any of your Wi-Fi, do you have a Wi-Fi need? Do you have anything of cameras or anything distributed where you need extra management over? Right. Then here's some dissimilar things about both of our platforms, right? We use the stoplights. red, yellow, and green, right? So some of the most things to talk about is Versa does not have built-in Wi-Fi at all. So if there's a need for built-in Wi-Fi, guess what solution you choose? Meraki. You won't choose Versa. So then when you look at better, what they call intelligent routing and controlling, you will go to Versa for that, right? Because routing and controlling is what? That's somebody that's doing sophisticated routing. Say like you have different Meraki branch offices, and you saying those branch offices, I don't want going out to the internet directly. I don't care how much security is. I want those routed back to the headquarters, and I want the headquarters to handle where they go out into the internet and how they do that, and vice versa. So that's what they call more intelligent routing and controlling, and there's a lot more to it. So one of the case studies is a dental office. The bottom line with the dental office is that they have remote users. So there's only one solution, right? So I cut the chase right there, right? So that's exactly what they want. And they wanted different kind of switches that have hosted VoIP. Hosted VoIP works well. Remember, hosted VoIP is not actually at a site location at all. It's in the cloud, right? So those are how it's treated as a data pack coming in. It's not treated as a voice pack leaving your facility or coming in your facility. It's just geared there or pointed to your phone as an IP pack only. In the other cases, are more of a distributed 130. They want a more distributed model where each tire company, they actually do most of the heavy lifting themselves. They don't need to come back to central. They don't need route control. They don't need any of that at all. Only thing they need is more intelligent routing. They need more analytic control, and they need more applications to go in there to spin up different VPN tunnels, because you have external sources coming into each of those individual remote locations to say what? Access a specific application or access an inventory system that houses in that particular site only. So that'll be a Versa. So just to recap a little bit, the only two, again, is CenturyLink Versa product and the CenturyLink SD-WAN for Meraki. So you kind of know what they do. Complex routing, large branching, and Versa. You talk about Meraki would be more retail locations and IT infrastructure. They need more IT infrastructure. More IT infrastructure means AP, switches, it cameras at some cases as well. So CenturyLink helps in doing what with all this information? So there's an iceberg predicted in water. So the customer don't like to be underwater, so we do mostly all that heavy lifting for them. So you look at the iceberg as what's on top, what's above the waterline here. Is what the customer is really interested in. So they're interested in path selection, security, QoS, analytics that an executive can read and interpret and see actually what my network is doing, and monitoring, and like we said, route policies, right? Basically, and all the stuff that's underwater is what CenturyLink handles. Right? We handle the integration, we handle global, we handle the transport, we handle the third-party broadband or internet, and our DIA connection as well. So we do it most of, or if the customer already have it there, we integrate it over the top, which is called the overlay. So those are kind of things that we do all the time. And take note about our certified labs. We got about 5 certified labs throughout the world that we certify products. And they're hard coding products like waterproof headsets and stuff like that. I know people work out a lot, but at the same token, that's exactly what we do. We test proof this through our network and make sure it's deployable and scalable to meet large growth. And with that, I would like to leave with an overall picture again of what hybrid network is to CenturyLink. And once we put all this together, this is what it looks like for a customer map. So a customer should be able to depict or draw a diagram, or we have a diagram off the analytics that looks just like this. You have IPsec tunnels, you have broadband connectivity or DSL internet connections, you have dedicated internet connections, which is symmetrical. And remember, broadband carrier is asymmetrical and DSL is asymmetrical, which a lot down, a little up, but direct internet is simultaneous, right? The same up and down speeds constantly. And then you have Ethernet that's predicted here as MPLS. So that is how the network should evolve. So if you're in this business, you better get used to looking at that, because this is what the end result is that you do for any client that you have out there. And you also, we didn't mention a lot about LTE, 4G. I know 5G is coming. That spectrum is a little short, but they're still learning into that. And when that comes, we'll be able to incorporate that as well. That's also in our test labs going through the 5G. And we do 5G today in areas our way with a larger spectrum brand, but I won't get into that. But we do that as well. So that is the picture that I would leave you with as far as anything hybrid connectivity, which started with routers and now is into SD-WAN appliances that include your security and are in 2 different links in. Any questions? Or are you taking any questions on the technical part? Well, I got one. The Versa between Meraki, how many WAN connections can each handle, right? Meraki handles 2 WAN connections with a cellular backup, right? Cellular backup only kicks in when both WAN circuits are down. So Versa handles 4 WAN circuits in and 1 cellular. So all 4 have to be down for the cellular or LTE backup to commence, to be engaged. So I'll leave you with that, and I'll turn it back over to Melissa for sales and marketing. Thank you.
Thank you, John. All right, so now we learned a little bit about some of our product sets and what's available to you. So now I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit about the back office and how we support you, and then as well as how we incent you for selling these solutions. Enabling our partners. The one aspect of, as I'm sure you know, customer experience is of the utmost importance. So is partner experience. So we at CenturyLink are taking a keen interest in investing the support to better support our partners so that you can focus on your customers and selling and growing your business. Behind me, we also have a dedicated support team. So included in that is our channel manager, myself, our inside channel manager, John, our sales engineer. We also have a partner support manager. We have a customer care manager who's responsible for, well, actually I'll go over the roles in a second, but the customer care manager and a support management team. This would be from a post-sales perspective. We also work with TCG for onboarding. So if you have any more interest, if you have other partners that you work with that are interested in learning more about CenturyLink and learning more about our products, then we do have an onboarding program that we can come out and sit with you. We can work with you on designing networks and learning all of the product sets that we offer. We have so many. We have more products than I even know. So it's a learning experience for me as well. And as you know, technologies are evolving, and so are solutions. So we want to grow with you and be able to educate you on what we can offer, because we may have something that you wouldn't even think about that could help solve a customer's problem. The partner portal is a great place for this. So we carry a lot of our information. We have a specific partner portal for our partners that houses all of our marketing material, all of our promotions, links to some of our sales sources, and a lot of training as well. And at some point we're going to integrate with our customer portal so that as you sell partners or you sell customers, you'll have access into their accounts if they grant you access. And we also are working with, and we'll be working with TCG through a program called a Primo, where we actually do a joint marketing campaign. So we co-manage and we co-market and brand flyers, email blasts. We incorporate these into lists, and it'll be nice touch points. And these are things that again, we feel is an advantage of working with CenturyLink, that not all carriers are going to do that for their partners. Another benefit that I've used a couple of times actually with TCG is our proactive engineering design program. This is a really, really interesting application. I can actually do what's called a map vine. So I can go into a portal and put in a company's information and we will actually be able to pull in as much information as we can that's public. So we can pull down an entire network or location, and we can give them a specified diagram of the services that are available to them, as well as physical maps of where our fiber is in relation to their locations. It's a really cool tool. If you have any customers that are multi-site, and this is something that you would be interested in, please don't hesitate to ask me. It's very easy to do, and it's a really great tool, and it posts into a website, and the customers have access to it. So again, it's just an advantage that you show to your customers and your prospects that you have the power of a company behind you that has this type of resource. And then this is a new campaign that we're launching, and it's new. Talking to Dan about it, we're very excited. It's called the Lead with CenturyLink campaign, and TCG has been assigned specific regions, mostly where we are the CLEC. And I'm going to touch on it a little bit more in detail, but it's actually where CenturyLink has decided to invest not in direct sales teams, but actually into our partners to go to market and market and sell into lit buildings, near net buildings, for untouched territories. So it's a really cool opportunity. We're looking forward to working with Dan on that. And again, I'll
open that up to basically whoever's interested in being a part of that program.
So hopefully we'll be able to get in touch here again on that shortly. I mentioned earlier your dedicated support team. These are our contacts. And you can always get those from Shelly. I'm sure she knows how to get in touch with us. Talking about the Lead with CenturyLink program, kind of an overview of this is just talking about that there's so many small and medium businesses out there that just go untouched. And so it's a great opportunity for us to work with our partners in those local areas to co-market and target these buildings. So we're gonna work with you to provide leads, and we're actually working on leads ourselves that are going to be warm leads, and we're going to pass these along to TCG and let them work with the partners and see who's in those areas and who would better fit the bill. As you can see, we have 32 markets. I'll show you the markets again. We've got designated. We don't want to overlap, so we've only allocated specific markets and specific territories to a specific partner. So we're not going to have 10 TCGs hitting the same area. We've got one TCG hitting one area so that you guys can go out there and penetrate that market. And I can guarantee you they're going to look to see who's actually doing well with this, and we'll be able to take on the world after that. So excited about that. You can also see from an addressable market space, there's $421 million worth of telecom spend out there. $421 million. That's a lot of revenue out there that's just sitting out there that's addressable. And we have over 413,000 prospects. These are the markets. So I highlighted, which of course now you can't see, the markets where TCG has been allocated, and that is Naples, Florida. I can't read it either. Naples, Florida, Ocala, Tallahassee, Cape Coral, and also Atlanta, Georgia. So the top 4 are in our CLEC territory, and you can see that those are what we call our in-region territory, and those would be tailored more towards the small and medium business. And then Atlanta, which does have a direct team, but there seems to be a lot of green space out there for us to market. That'll be more towards the medium business enterprises. And then we get into what I call the WIIFM. So what's in it for me? Win with CenturyLink. So we're going to incent you to sell CenturyLink. We're going to work with you. We're going to do proactive campaigns, lead generation, as I explained. Very limited channel conflict. Again, we are not releasing this to the direct teams. So, not to say that a direct team isn't, a direct sales rep isn't going to target a building, because they're definitely going to be lit buildings that we're going to market. But they're not proactively providing leads to the direct team. They're not proactively working with them to generate these leads, and they're not proactively working with them on lead campaigns and co-marketing. So this is a very unique situation. We're super excited about it. I think it's an amazing step in showing how important the partner community is with a large organization like CenturyLink. And actually, our Executive Vice President, Lisa Miller, just took over the small business side of CenturyLink, which is why I think we got this opportunity, because she realizes the impact and the importance of the channel community. Incentives. So we have so many. I left you a cheat sheet. Just going to go over these a little bit briefly, but we have new incentives for, I think I have a page here that's a little bit better, yes. The Lead with CenturyLink campaign, so sell any service in any of these markets, as long as it's a net new service, then, and I believe a 2-year minimum contract, and receive 1x the MRC. So I believe the minimum criteria is $125, and the max payout is, I think, $5,000 on the Lead with CenturyLink. We have our digital business bundles as well. The SD-WAN Now promo, which since we talked about that, is any eligible sale of any SD-WAN, $750 and above, will pay out 1x that sale, up to $5,000. So this is, again, from a single product perspective. We have the same application or same promo going on with Security Now, and we also have a large deal promo, which has now been tripled. So if we have an example here, the large deal promo starting at $25,000. So if you have a $25,000 deal, we're going to pay out $10,000. Now with the triple down promo, that is now $30,000. So let's say you add in some SD-WAN. Well, guess what? All of these promotions are stackable. So you have the potential of adding in another $5,000 from selling SD-WAN network in with your big deal promo. So there's a great opportunity to not only win a nice size opportunity or a nice size customer, but to earn some upfront spiffs as well. And that's it. So thank you for your time. Are there any questions at all for us? Or yes?
Can you give an idea of what your fiber pricing looks like on CWET territory on that buildings?
Great question. So it does differ by territory, but if you're looking in Florida, and actually Shelley would probably know better than I would, if you're looking at, let's just say 100 meg, and this would be like a fiber plus, so this is symmetrical, it's 100-100, it's not going to be like a DSL, which we do have high-speed IP as well, but I believe it would run between $125 to $159, something like that.
For what? For 100 meg?
That's non-SLA, correct?
I'm sorry?
That's non-SLA.
Non-SLA. That's right, it's fiber plus. So, well, fiber plus is better, is like our business class fiber solution.
ABF, basically.
Right, if you're going with a dedicated fiber, so you're going with like a dedicated internet connection, then with complete SLAs, then I believe it's $435 for an on-net building for 100 meg. Yeah. So, and fiber plus as well will go up to, is anywhere from 50 meg up to a gig. And obviously, internet, we can throw this out there too. I mean, we sell dedicated internet, dedicated fiber, all the way from 10 meg up to 100 gig. So you have an internet need, there's definitely something that we can meet there. Any other questions? but definitely get with me on pricing, and we can work with Shelley and you know, get some rate sheets out for you. All right. Well, thank you all very much. I appreciate it.